There's a tree called variously the Lawton Cypress or the Port Orford cedar. It's remarkable for having a highly restricted geographic range in southwest Oregon and northwest California. But when the Europeans took it in the, I believe, 1830s to places like the Netherlands, it started making seedlings that showed more diversity and more variation than any other conifer, and it remains the world's most diverse conifer in terms of seedling variants. So you can get yellow, green, bronzy, bluish. You can get juvenile forms, skinny forms. This is a wide growing form that never makes cones. The only way you'd know it's a Lawton Cypress is if you know the fragrance and you smell the foliage, you crush it, it has a distinctive smell in the bark. But it does not make flowers or cones. It's like a pollywog that never turns into a frog. Whether you call these large shrubs or small trees is ambiguous. It's kind of like, where do you draw the line between a shrub and a tree in general? Nature doesn't have a black and white distinction. It has an absolute continuum of size between the single-celled organisms and the biggest life forms on the planet. So if you want to call these the trees, you can say they identify as trees. They may not be sold in nurseries anymore, but there's plenty of old ones in residential neighborhoods. They'll sell them in parks, curiously enough. And if we were to measure, I could calculate easily how tall these are. They're wider than tall. Most trees, especially cypress trees, are distinctly taller than wide. But these grow like, well, mushrooms, frankly. So a good measurer tries to get the smallest possible reading. I've got it down to 15 feet 8 1/4. The sloppy guys don't take the pains that I'm taking, but if I can't get it any tighter than 15/8, that's what I'm going to call it. Look, I got it down to 15/8.
Cool. Look at me and tell me that.
Is that going to make your date?
15/8?
15/8. Okay, now we got to calculate how wide it is. North, figure out where the branch, how far they go, and then to the south. And so let's find the northernmost here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot from here to about the middle of the trunk, and then we're going to do from the south to the trunk. Okay, 15 feet 8, and I said 65 and a half. I'm gonna have to hope that this cherry tree branch doesn't get in the way. So the problem with measuring a tree like that is it's a lot harder than doing a fir tree. With the fir, it's got a single point. Look at the oak. There's multiple points and we don't know which one is the tallest. So I have to shoot multiple points and figure out which one is the highest. And I take the highest reading I get. It's a laser rangefinder. Hunters use them, engineers use them, tree measurers use them, and they are valuable because you can do vertical or horizontal distance in feet or meters. This one is an ancient one from the 90s. It says 1996. And at the time it was about a $2,500 one. And when I once dropped it, it cost about $500 to get it fixed and recalibrated. That's why I have it on a good string. They have newer ones that are smaller, lighter. This weighs almost as much as a brick, and more accurate. You know, high tech is like that. But I'm old school. The ground is compacted and gravelly, and the one at the UW that's growing more rapidly, even though it's older, it has wood chips around it and no compaction and possibly a richer soil. The soil here is high and dry, it's sandy and poor. The rich soil would be down in Georgetown and South Park, and even the UW has better soil than this. I mean, come on. So the trees growing slowly, it's making small rings, and it's putting energy into leaves and acorns. And every year, the park department guys come and they blow up and haul away all the leaves so that the grass can grow. If this was in the forest, the leaves would accumulate, and the soil wouldn't be compacted, and it would be growing more. A designation made by a group of volunteers who have a strong interest in, passion about, and knowledge of trees. And in Seattle's context, it's a program managed jointly by the City of Seattle and the Plant Amnesty, a nonprofit tree and shrub organization. And it's been going on for decades. This was nominated, I don't even know who or when, but that's all in the records. And it was accepted as being exceptional. It's not to say it's the oldest or the biggest, but it's more special than average. You know how under the law, all men and women are equal, but in fact, the rich are more equal than the poor. And some trees are considered by a jury of people to be better than others, and it usually means they're historic or of landmark significance or extra large. In one way or another, they are remarkable, they stand out, kind of like, my God, that's an honest politician. Wow. This tree is a heritage tree. Well, I'm partial to trees that are very wide because in Seattle most trees are relatively slender. And the number of trees in the city of Seattle that are more than 120 feet wide there's hardly any. They're all going to be oaks and elms. There used to be a willow maybe, but it's gone. So in the Midwest and in California and back east, wide oaks are common. And in England, not in Seattle. So I like that it's 133 feet wide. Yes, it's a miserable height, 78 feet. Well, piss on that. We have oaks way taller than that. We have oaks like 130 feet tall. So the height's not remarkable, but its width is. And the trunk, again, we have others about that big. And I also like that it is at this playground, Playfield, that brings together the whole community having fun. They're doing their athletic stuff, and they are outside. They're exercising, everybody's having a good time. So that's what I like about it. Most of the playfields are largely dedicated to athletic activity, and trees are an incidental afterthought, especially the ones done with forward thrust money, which is most of them. There were only so many playfields done in the olden days in Seattle, and most of them, well, all of them had fewer different kinds of trees than this. And this also, you notice, has topography. It's not flat. Most playgrounds or playfields are boringly flat. They need to be, but this isn't.